This video is to show you how to use CloudExtend to upload new journal entries. I'm going to start this video off by showing you the journal entry template that I've created so that you can start by creating a journal entry template for your uploads. So as a brand new user, you're going to see the option of search and download or create new records. So when you select either one of these options, it's going to walk you through a 3-step process. The first step is to select a record type. So in this case, if it's going to be journal entry, you're going to search for journal entry. And then on the second step, that is going to be the association of your fields for your journal entry template. So now that you have added all the fields, the third step is going to be loading that template onto a worksheet. So here I already have a journal entry template. So I'm going to go into the start with a template switch, turn that on. And now I'm going to select the one that says create new records with a template. It's going to bring me to my list of templates. And as you can see, my journal entry template is here. I'm going to select edit. And once I edit my template, this is going to be an option where you're going to be able to select which fields you want to add onto your template. So let's just say I want to search for a trend ID or a trend date. It does have the option for me to select it. And one good example too is that if you want to add in memo field, you see that memo right here, this is going to be the header or the body memo field. And then the line list memo is going to be the memo field within the line list or the sublist of the journal entry itself. Very important that you choose the right one, because when you do an upload, that will define the record as well as the records that you would upload into NetSuite. All right, so now that we have a better understanding of the selection of fields, let's go to add fields and take a look at what fields I've added into my journal entry template. So these fields are optional, but I would recommend adding some of these fields. You can also add in more fields to your liking as well as custom fields. But for demo purposes, I loaded some of these fields just to kind of demonstrate. All right, so the first one is going to be the internal ID. So the internal ID is a field that you would not need to add into the template when you do build your template. This internal ID field will automatically be embedded to all of your transaction as well as entity record type templates. So now the next one is going to be the tran ID. So tran ID is going to be in reference to the journal entry number field inside of NetSuite. The transaction date is going to be the tran date or the date field within a journal entry form. Memo, like I mentioned, this is going to be the header memo. So you do want to make sure you distinguish this memo with the sublist memo. And now coming down to the line level or the sublist of the journal entry, we have the standard fields, we have accounts, we have debit, credit, and department. And then, like I mentioned here, this is the memo field at the sublist level. So this is very important that you understand this memo field is going to be different from the header. All right, so now that we have all of the fields and you have a better understanding of how to build your template, let's go and continue. Click on yes. And as you can see, it does give you an option to name your template and provide a description of what this template will entail. And once everything is okay, I'm going to click on save and enter data. So now this template is going to be saved onto your CloudExtend session. So whenever you want to load this template onto a tab or onto a new workbook, you can see that this template has been saved onto your CloudExtend session. So for demo purposes, I already have a journal entry template kind of preloaded with data. So if I were to select this journal entry template, you can see that I've already preloaded my GL accounts as well as the debit and credit information. So both of these columns will balance. And then the memo field, I'm actually going to use this as a header value to let the system know that I'm creating one big journal entry. The transaction ID and transaction date is optional for you to add, but because these are system generated fields, so you don't really need to add anything there. But you do need to have at least one header value filled out to ensure that the system will recognize that you're creating a record. So here, let's just say for the memo, I'm going to add in this is a test. And then once I have that, I'm going to repeat this throughout the rows. And you want to repeat the header level to match the number of line ID rows that you have. So now that I have the memo as well as the account and debit and credit, those are my required fields in order for me to generate and create a new record. So I'm going to go into upload records or upload to NetSuite and go to upload records on the bottom. And you're going to see that it's going to read the table from cell A3 to K58. So once it reads those table, it's going to recognize that I want to create one big journal entry based off the memo value that I've inserted in column E. And when it's fully successful when it's uploaded successfully, it will show and return a internal ID in column B in green to let you know that it's successful. And it also, if you want to return the tran ID and tran date, what you'll need to do here is it'll use the internal ID, and we're going to go to reload. This reload records will use that internal ID to refresh and return any of the missing columns right here with the value that was system generated. So I'm going to go to reload records. And once I reload the record, you're going to see that the tran ID and tran date as well as the line field has been returned. So now if I were to select tran ID, this can be used to do a global search. And now I'm going to go into NetSuite to confirm that the upload was successful. All right, so I'm going to plug the tran ID inside of the global search. As you can see, it generated the journal entry results right here. So if I select that, you're going to see the memo that I've added. This is a test. There's also the posting period is correct. The transaction date is correct for the day today. And it also added in the account, debit, and credit. And if you want to go even further in verification, just go to system information and go to system notes. And it's going to let you know who set the upload and who created the upload for the journal entry and under what context. So in this case, it's going to be SOAP Web Services and what type of operation. So this is a create, and it's going to set all of these fields with the brand new value that we have uploaded through CloudExtend. This concludes our video on how to use CloudExtend when uploading new journal entries. If you need further support, please visit our support site at support.cloudextend.io.